Hello YouTube. How's everyone going? This is ladusgamingyt here, and we have Captain Jack in our video helping out today as well. So why do we have Captain Jack? Because we are planning to do some testing, battlefield testing over here. So we are going to test the city poppers. We want to find out who the best city popper is. So I'm going to take out Attila Takeda, Attila Nevsky, Pakal Harald, Charles Herald, and then I'm going to take out Archer March as well. Kind of see how the AoE goes against the counterattack damage that the other marches do. So we got Nebu and YSG that can hit 5 targets each. So we kind of had to fill our hospital. So I'm kind of trying to do that filling hospital in a fun sort of way. So first up, I'm bringing out 100k Attila Takeda T5, the equipment and the talent tree, city skins, everything that I would ideally use if I was doing city popping. Not that I have a lot of experience in city popping, but if I had to, this is what I would probably use. So anyway, rather than saying this is a scientific testing video, I'm just trying to say that I'm kind of testing what I would do, I guess. Let's put it that way. Now, ideally, when you're doing city popping, you want to come and hit the marches, and when you have many marches targeting you, you're meant to kind of get back to your city, but we are kind of not doing it. So we're not replicating the ideal scenario. We are kind of trying to replicate the worst case scenario. If you get caught out, if your marches die, obviously you're going to trade bad out of the bad trades. Which one kind of gives you the best trade? Now, if you're looking for the best trade in a ideal KvK scenario, you probably need to have max tech. You need to get your marches back. But anyways, in order for us to kind of measure the 5 marches, we're going to measure save wounds on either side. So Attila Takeda, we are doing 5,927 save wound to them, and they did something like 16,442 to us. That's our hospital build. So basically, we got kill points for 5,927, and our hospital bill for that was 16,442. Now for the next battle, I brought out Attila Nevsky. Now a lot of people says Attila Nevsky is actually better for this than Attila Takeda, so not as much counter-attack damage, but then probably more focus damage and the defense reduction and all that comes with Nevsky. So some people actually prefer this with against more so than Attila Takeda, and Attila Nevsky is in general probably a better match for field fighting or rally or however you're gonna put it. But then for city popping, are they better? We don't know. Let's see. So same sort of scenario, 100k I got, and they're gonna Captain Jack's 5 marches are gonna hit the shit out of my march, and I'm not gonna retreat. I'm kind of trying to focus on the same march every time. I don't know how successfully I get to do it. I don't think that matters too much either. So every single battle, I'm going to stand there and die, and we are going to measure how many save wounds I'm getting and how many save wounds that I am doing. So what I did is I added up all the numbers from all these trades, and Attila Nevsky, we got 6,090 save wounds on the other side, so kill points for those, versus we took a hospital bill of 18,026. So the hospital bill increased and the save wounds on the enemy increased as well. So this is a less tanky, more damaging march, which is what's expected. So in a way, if you're kind of looking for I guess getting more kills out of this, then Attila Nevsky did better than Attila Takeda. But then if you're thinking about from a trade point of view, which is what we probably should be doing when we are considering, I guess, a counter-attack damage scenario, city popping, in that case the ratio probably was a little bit better for the Attila Takeda. But then guys, I'm just saying, this is all gonna change if you don't let your march die. So again, clarifying, this is not the ideal testing. Ideal testing, Attila Nevsky probably would do more damage, but then Attila Nevsky, if you let it stand there and die, your ratio is gonna look a lot worse. So not an overall testing we're doing here. What we're doing is the worst case scenario. So if you are new to city popping, worst case scenario, who gives you the best trades? Now for this time around, we did bring out the Pacal Herald. Now my personal expectation at the start of the video would have been that Pacal and Herald would probably be doing the best. Now when I did the video, I'm actually talking over a video now that we did earlier, like weeks earlier, probably a couple weeks earlier, so I don't even know the numbers. I'm just adding up the numbers as we kind of go. I'm stopping the commentary and doing the add-ups and putting the number inserts. So I expected this march to actually do the best. A part of me thought it'll do the best because Pakal's tanky and Herald with, all his AoE and everything. But then in terms of damage, yes, it did better. We got 6192. That's the amount of damage that we did through the Herald. But in terms of the hospital bill, this March actually gave us the highest hospital bill as well, as you saw. That's 19,002. So we are probably getting the most kills out of this so far out of the three, but we're getting the most hospital bill as well. So save wounds to the opponent versus save wounds that we are taking, for which we have to obviously pay the hospital bill. So anyways, so far expectation damage wise, yes, we expected it to do the most, but I didn't expect this March to come back home with the biggest hospital bill as well. Now the other thing that I should probably mention, as you can see, I'm using an infantry screen, city skin for the infantry. I'm trying to use the best equipment that I have, which is not necessarily the best equipment. If you compare the equipment between and the city skin between the cav and the infantry, it's not exactly equal as well. That's why I keep saying this is not an ideal scenario. This is more like what's the best I can do. So by no means I'm kind of doing a recommendation out of this video for you guys. All I'm doing here is because I had to fill my hospital, I tried to do it in a fun way, and then I thought, since we're doing it in a fun way, then I'll probably give you some numbers as well. So I do a lot of recommendation videos where I do stand by my recommendations. This is where I'm not doing a recommendation because this is not scientific. Mainly because nothing is similar. Like the city skins, now I'm using a 10% health city skin, whereas for the calves I was using a 10% defense. So straight away you got a big difference there. So we're not comparing apples with apples. But either way, Charles and Harold, we didn't do as much damage. We got 5,505 damage done on the enemy, or kill points that we racked up. And in our case, in terms of the hospital, we got the least bill as well, to be honest, I think. So we got 16,434. So we took the least bill possible. So the Charles and the Herald, I mean, I don't know, we'll talk about the ratios later, but it doesn't look like it's as strong in terms of doing damage as much as any of the other marches does. So the 5,500 was quite low compared to the 6,192 that, say, for example, the Pakal and Herald did compared to the Charles and Herald. Now for the 5th March, this is obviously not recommended, but just so that I can benchmark a little bit, I'm bringing out my Nebu YSG. I am just making sure that I do have equipment on the Nebu YSG. Now in this March they don't do as much counter-attack damage, but then there's the 5 March AoE that both of these commanders does. That's why we thought we check it out to see whether we can substitute the AoE damage. We can substitute the counter-attack damage with the AoE that this March does, and it actually looks like they're coming down really fast. So this March is not tanky at all. I don't know whilst dying how much damage they did, so let's have a look at the figures. I don't know actually what to expect. Now this is where we did about 5,611 in terms of save wounds to the enemy, and we took the most save wounds ourselves. So the biggest hospital bill that we ever had, which is over 20,000. So 20,042 is our hospital bill, versus what we did to the enemy was 5,611 only. So the Nebu YSG definitely doesn't serve the purpose of the city popping, the purpose that we're trying to serve, as in the ratios and all that. Now, based on everything that we looked at, all the reports that you can see in the background, we kind of tried to find the best ratio as well, in terms of if you let the March stand there and die, which March gives the best ratio or trade in terms of save wounds that you take versus save wounds that you do. So that number, have a guess. Maybe let us know in the comments. Now that you kind of know the numbers and you had your expectations as well. So in case if you let your March city popping March gets caught out, which March gives you the best trade? What would you say? Out of the 5 things that we tried, so we had Attila Takeda, we had Attila Nevsky, we had Pakal Harald, we had Charles Herald, and we had Nebu YSG. So let's see in the comments, guys, if you can get it right, who gives you the best possible trade. My bet would have been Pacal Herald. Now, I don't know whether that answer is correct. Let's see the answer. So the best trade that we got is actually Attila Takeda. So Attila Takeda, for every kill picked up, we are getting 2.77 in the hospital, 2.96 for Attila Nevsky. Charles Herald actually did a little bit better than Pakal Harald. So Charles Herald, you got 2.99. Pakal Herald, you got 3.07. And the worst is obviously Nebu YSG with 3.57. Yeah, hope you guys liked this random testing video. If you did, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.